The New York Times, in an op-ed, published an article about ways to abolish the First Amendment and not to debate the stories they deem fit to print. Luckily, America's favorite judge, Andrew Napolitano, was on Fox News to dismantle their viewpoint. In this day and age, when liberals are trying to take away our constitutional rights, it's good to know that they cannot succeed in doing so. So, let's listen to what the judge has to say about this situation.
New York University professor Ulrich Baer, he wrote this, quote, "The idea of freedom of speech does not mean a blanket permission to say anything to anybody that anybody thinks. It means balancing the inherent value of a given view and putting parameters around that to make sure the marginalized are protected." Joining me now, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Who sets up those? Who gets to decide the parameters?
The listener gets to decide what he wants to hear, and the speaker gets to decide what she wants to say, and the government has no role in it. That's not me. That's the Supreme Court of the United States on the First Amendment. Now, NYU is a private institution. They can do what they want on their private property. But these two instances, the white supremacists at Auburn's owned by the state of Alabama, and Coulter at the University of California, that's owned by the state of California. The states are required, and everything they own is required to abide the First Amendment.
All right,
so does the First Amendment protect hate speech?
Yeah.
It absolutely does.
Yeah, but only liberals, but not conservative free speech, right? I mean,
yeah, you know, I condemned the Bush administration when they created free speech zones. If you wanted to say something, you wanted the president to hear, you had to be 3 miles away, which obviously means he can't hear it. The New York Times condemned them as well. Today, the New York Times is supporting the concept of free speech zones and no free speech zones on college campuses.
I mean, cut it out, the zones. I mean, weren't the founding fathers against censorship-type parameters? I just want you to understand, stay with me on this. I want to get you all excited here. They protected extreme speech because with that sunlight, you can find out and flush out the people who really hate freedom. The KKKers, the people who do racial injustices, or the Nazis or Islamic jihadis. You want to hear that hate speech because you know who those guys are.
You are exactly right. If hate speech is criminalized, it will go underground, and you won't know who the haters are. The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to encourage and facilitate open, wide, robust, virulent, I'm quoting Justice Douglas now in a famous case involving free speech, even vicious speech, because the conflict of ideas produces the sunlight of which you speak. Challenge people's truths. Don't treat these kids in colleges like they're snowflakes, not my word, but the word today. Expose them to all sorts of ideas. The First Amendment was not written to protect speech we like because we like it. It doesn't need protection. It was written to protect speech we hate and fear. That's why we have it.